Rissa, what are the teams that we're about to watch in Winners Finals?
Sure, just having to throw that out there. Okay, so looking at the game, you guys, we are in Winners Finals. We are in for a treat too against, looking at this, Kagura, which a team we just saw on stream. We saw them perform so well, versus Starburst, a team we all know very well, and of course they performed very well on stream too that we saw. So I can't even comprehend. I mean, both of these teams had so much synergy. They played so well on stream, and getting to see them here in Winners Finals, I think, is going to be an absolute treat.
Yeah, it is the return of Zesty Zebra, a name that I unironically think will take this entire tournament, and that is also a hill I will die on. Zesty Zebra, of course, is Biscuit in this roster, in this Stellar, right? Stellar, Star, Starburst roster of Bagel, Ice, Biscuit, and Bran, a powerhouse of NA, and arguably, definitely, the best team in the West right now. Can Kagura dethrone them, or will Starburst prevail? I hope so, because I would hate my prediction to be wrong.
I mean, and looking at too, with the way these two teams played, I think this is just, I can't even personally pick a team that I think could win, because they both were playing so well that we got to see. I mean, Bran, Biscuit, of course, being able to hold areas paired with the support of Bagel and Ice on the splashes previously. And then, of course, Kagura just had so much synergy and was playing so well together. Also, I mean, we get to see it right now, heading into Winners Finals for 20XX here. Kagura versus Starburst. Let's look at these comps and see what we have in store.
Let's go. This is, once again, Clam Blitz Museum d'Alfonsino. We see the classic 3 Splash-O-Matic comp that we've already seen today, coming out from Starburst, along with that machine. And look at that. It's a triple Splash-O-Matic comp as well, coming out from Kagura. But this time with the Stamper, it does seem like the opening will favor Starburst as they get a 3-person down situation on the opposing team. And they are already pushed up to the enemy plat. And they have clams. They are ready to push this. They just popped that crab tank. And they just got a pick, maybe a trade here. I don't know if they can finish this with a push now, Rissa.
I'm not sure either. Bagel doing everything he can here to make sure that he is making sure this clam stays alive, able to pop this crab, and with a complete wipe suddenly onto Kagura, Starburst here gets that power clam in and is able to follow up with even more clams to score the points here for Starburst, now all the way down to 47 points, and members of Kagura are continuing to go down. Look at this consistent synergy and aggression from Starburst. I love seeing this.
Yeah, they thought we can either put down the clams or we can put down the kills, and they decided let's go for the kills because we can push back in and KO it just like that. That is Starburst coming in strong in this first match, or first map of this Winners Finals match. That is a great showing.
A great showing. I mean, I didn't even really get to think about or assess everything that was going on there because that happened so fast. Starburst, as soon as they got set up on Kagura's plat spinner area, they were able to instantly open the basket and just continue to. It seemed like they were able to keep having crabs at the ready. You saw Bagel was juggling that power clam, but also made sure that he used his crab, because recognizing how important it is to be able to use the crab to create space and slow down Kagura even more is so important. Kagura, I saw that they did what we've seen them do previously. They stayed back, made sure that they got their crabs ready as well, but just the aggression from Starburst here, I mean, that was insane. It just happened so fast too. In an instant, I couldn't even really fathom it.
It was so fast, and that is exactly what you'd expect from the best team in the West. I'm being serious now, guys, because top level Splatoon is fast. It's so fast, and Splatoon is already a very quick-paced game. But once you hit the top level, things happen in seconds. And in the same second, 2 different fights in 2 different areas of the map can be happening. And a decision can be made that will end the game, just like we saw happen in that map. Now, Kagura does have the counter pick, Rissa. What do they want to do? Because they just got washed. After dominating the previous set, they just got instantly washed. What is going through their heads right now?
I don't know. I mean, how they must be thinking about, having each team having triple splash, triple crab. This is what I've talked about previously, where, if you're against an E leader, how do you counterpick against an E leader when you have an E leader, right? You have to really start thinking about the specifics of what it is that was the play style against this team. Kagura was really going to have to figure out what in the playstyle of Starburst was slowing them down specifically and how they counter that. Maybe they'll go back to a map and mode that they did really good on previously and they felt comfortable with it. That might be a route that they can do here, because it seems like Starburst, might be able to adapt to anything, really.
They just might, and that's when you know that these are very, very good players. This counter pick is taking a long time. I wonder if Kagura is kind of getting a little bit nervous because, I know if I was in their place, in their position, I would definitely be. But a counter pick has come through, Rissa. We are going all the way back to Splat Zone's Brinewater Springs.
Ooh, I think this is an interesting counter pick. We saw .Q previously play this playing E-Leader, and that's making me wonder if we will get to see the .Q E-Leader come out again. Are they going to recognize that Starburst has been running Splash instead of an Anchor themselves? Are we going to see Ice, who is a very well-known Anchor backline player himself, switching over to E-Leader or Splatter Scope? So many questions here as we go into this game too. And, we've consistently seen Ice actually play Splash, so I am so curious if we're going to see that again moving into this. And it seemed like Kagura played this very well and very comfortably, so I could absolutely see why they would counterpick this, just kind of going off of a comfort pick, knowing that you did well on it previously.
I do think that an advantage that Starburst has in this set is that Ice has proven to be a much more versatile and adaptable player when compared to .Q, who is much more comfortable on that E-Leader. That being said, that's a pretty mean E-Leader, and it is coming out as Ice decides to stay or stick with that Splash-O-Matic, keeping that same comp from Starburst and just swapping a Splash for a new leader on the side of Kagura.
Immediately here, the zone is going to be in favor of Kagura as we see Wami actually push up there, but the defense from Starburst, it looked like Starburst kind of just let them come into them, waited for a millisecond there, and Bran, having this crab at the ready, is going to use it to slow down the rest of the members of Kagura, maybe try and disposition .Q here, and now Starburst does try and get set up in a position to take the zone, but there is that E-Leader in action from .Q, able to snipe out Ice, and .Q here setting up above the zone, using that laser to paint the zone and then put pressure on Starburst's side of the map.
Yeah, .Q there, proving why she is so good on that E-Leader, single-handedly keeping the zone, getting the pick, and then just stalling it for as long as her team needed to jump back in. Because essentially, she is a beacon. But beacon or not, Wami is the exact opposite, just diving the backline of the enemy team, unfortunately going down. And now it is a 3v2 scenario in favor for Starburst. And they maybe will get the zone. There it is. I was starting to get a bit worried there that they wouldn't cap. But with this crab tank, they are looking to solidify these scores, and maybe they can get the lead. But no, the zone gets flipped back into Kagura's control and flipped back once again into Starburst control. It's an absolute struggle for power right now, Rissa, as .Q tries to go for a sneaky angle, not exactly happening. And now 3v4. This could be good for Kagura.
Kagura, getting the machine down on the side of Starburst is really good. .Q getting a really nice snipe onto Bran there. Starburst was able to get the lead, but Kagura able to get the picks that they need to be able to push back into the zone. So they are taking a deep breath here. They know that they can still absolutely get the zone with only 12 penalty points here. The lead is absolutely super close. Actually, excuse me, 2, and now is no penalty points. And just like this, the lead is going to swap over to Kagura. And man, look at this aggression. They are not letting Starburst leave their base.
Not at all. Whammy there with a very aggressive Zipcaster, taking an off angle that otherwise would not be possible to take. Leafy just staying in there? Was that Leafy? No, I cannot see. Leafy backed out, realizing maybe we're going to lose the zone. They let the zone flip, but now they have a full person advantage. They capped back the zone, and now they are back in this enemy spawn. Leafy is so close to another crab tank, and they're about to pop it on this enemy side of the map. Machine has been picked off, and now it's just Splash versus the world. I don't think Starburst is gonna get out of this one, Rissa.
I don't know. I mean, they are consistently having a member down here as they're just trying to do everything they can to get into the zone, into mid. Finally, they were able to sneak past that Zipcaster there from Wami, and just, it seemed like that's, a lot of times it comes down to, okay, we know that we can't consistently hold the zone, but we at least need to somehow get to the zone to cap it, to give the penalty points over to the other team. That's exactly what Starburst was able to do there. Even though they seem to consistently have one member down, like right now they do have 3 members down. They just needed to get the zone to get the penalty points over to the other team, but with only a minute left and the points ticking down here, Kagura doing everything they can to hold the zone, and once again Starburst does that exact same thing. They came to the zone, they rushed and painted it, and gave those penalty points back over to Kagura.
Yeah, we're stepping into KO territory here in favor of Kagura. This penalty virtually means nothing. This is going to go down in seconds, but they are in a person's disadvantage, in a player disadvantage. So maybe Starburst will be able to flip the zone. They have 30 seconds plus overtime to get this lead, but that will be no easy feat at all. Whammy here backing out, has a Zipcaster at the ready, waiting for that team to engage. And that crab tank getting pushed so aggressively by Whammy, getting the Zipcaster getting popped, it seems. Yes, going on to zone, and overtime is going to activate. Rissa, this is looking good for Starburst, actually.
Yeah, Starburst knows that they have the zone. They're in control. There's one member down on the side of Kagura. That Stamper that consistently is in Starburst's face. Look at this crab, though, coming out from Kagura. That crab was so crucial. So many specials coming out in the zone right now, and that Booyah Bomb seemed like it might have been it for Starburst to make sure that they held the zone there at the last possible second, but with paint coming out from both sides, Kagura able to just cap the zone. That's all they needed to do to make sure they held the zone, painted it, and take this game.
Very, very well played from Kagura there. And unfortunately, that wasn't enough to win them the game. It seemed like every time Starburst pushed and Kagura identified they were at a disadvantage, they kind of receded. And then they came back in full force and took the zone right back from Starburst. But no, Kagura there managed to keep the lead and at the very last second take the zone away from Starburst as it was ticking down. And they were so ready to take the lead, but no, Kagura got it. Very, very well played. Now Starburst, they counterpicked that so fast. We're going into Rainmaker Flounder Heights. Rissa, that was about a fifth of the time that Kagura took to pick their map.
Yeah, it was. They knew immediately what to do. And I have a feeling I know why. I think, they recognize that Kagura is playing off of the strength of .Q's E-leader, and that worked out so well for them in that game too. They knew that with the fast pace and chaos of Rainmaker on Flounder Heights, that an E-leader might not be the best choice, and that kind of potentially will force .Q to actually probably switch over to Splash, I'm guessing. So I think they knew right away that this is a great counter for E-leader. We're gonna have to see once we head into this, but I have a feeling that's why they counterpicked that so fast.
I have seen Rainmaker Flounder Heights 3 times today, and that is 3 more times than I thought I would be seeing it today. Nonetheless, let's jump right into this, because this map has proven to be so chaotic, and Bran is bringing out the Tri-Slosher with that Toxic Mist, trying to slow down enemy pushes or just lock down choke points. And the Tri-Slosher itself is a really, really good main weapon with such a fast killing time. I like this weapon.
It's especially been really good. I've seen it a lot recently in the meta for Flounder Heights in particular, so I absolutely agree that it's a really, really good pick for this map and mode. The Rainmaker here actually going to be grabbed right away by Kagura as they try and work their way to this first checkpoint. And you can see they're jumping on the checkpoint. That Booyah Bomb does come out from Starburst, but Kagura able to succeed and drop down on that first checkpoint and at least get the checkpoint. That can be super crucial.
Yeah, that just means that next time they want to push, they do not have to worry about slamming the Rainmaker on one of those pedestals. They can just go straight for the end goal. That being said, they are 1 down, and Starburst wants to lock down one of these checkpoints for themselves. It seems like they're going to get this pop uncontested, and they can pretty shortly run it through. That is a very, very big push. 1 minute and 30 seconds into the game, I believe, to 34. This is a good position, Rissa, but as we said, with no checkpoint being, with no checkpoint up on the side of Starburst defense, Kagura can just run it in and return.
They can. Kagura making sure that they pop the Rainmaker, let it reset, and slowly work their way into mid. We see the Booyah Bomb and the Crab at the ready for Kagura. They are waiting to set up to get a push in. Wami here using the Zipcaster to try and create space for their team. And look at all this orange ink in mid. That's exactly what Kagura needs to be able to get a push going. And they are going to go ahead and grab the Rainmaker, use this Crab to start this push, but 2 members do go down, and the defense from Starburst right now is looking really, really nice.
Yeah, it definitely is. This Rainmaker has not pushed past the mid line of this map, but now it seems like it finally will be able to, as Starburst has kind of given up this top part, or this high ground position, allowing the Rainmaker to push back in. But no, the Rainmaker goes back into the grates and gets picked off. This is a 3v2 scenario in favor of Starburst. 3v1 now, only .Q left alive, and she goes down back to spawn with you. Starburst pushes back in, but they're not picking it up. They're just getting the picks. It seems like Kagura is feeding them so many kills, and this is another opportunity to run the Rainmaker in there, maybe get a little bit more of a lead, but it doesn't matter. They just want the Rainmaker so the farthest away from their side of the map, and that is absolutely valid, Rissa. This is good gameplay.
Remember, the farther the Rainmaker is away from Kagura's base, the harder it's going to be, and the longer, the more stally it's going to be for Kagura to even be able to try and push the Rainmaker themselves. So once again, Kagura having to let the Rainmaker reset, get into mid, and then try and figure out how they want to get into mid themselves. 3 members of Kagura go down, though. This aggression from Starburst, they are just not letting Kagura leave their spawn.
Rissa, this is shambolic. This is shambolic right now, Rissa. They will get the pop and they'll just run it back in. I'm not sure they will be able to knock it out. But as you said, they just go. They just go. They just go. They are not stopping. But poetically, it seems like it has stopped. But with under a minute left on this clock, Rissa, this is not looking good at all for Kagura.
Yeah, Kagura is once again in this position where they have to let the Rainmaker reset. And the problem with that is you let the Rainmaker reset, that is giving Starburst all that time to set up in the mid, get their defensive specials ready, and just guard mid themselves. Kagura having to be the team that has to push into mid and figure out how to get into mid without having members of their own team go down. I mean, you can see Starburst right now has 3 specials at the ready. They know that they have the points all the way down to 20. There's only 15 seconds remaining of this clock, and Starburst just knows, okay, guys, let's just sit back, play this defensively. We know exactly what we need to do in order to win this game.
Yeah, they have crabs, they have the Booyah Bomb, they have the Toxic Mist. Oh man, Kagura needs to get picks, and that is what they are doing. They just gotta pick onto one of the crab tank users. That Booyah Bomb just got thrown for nothing. Whammy here paired up with his teammate, but they are the last ones up, and no, the Rainmaker goes down. That is game 3 going to Starburst.
That was a really nice crab usage there at the end too, you know, staying in a safe space. Typically that's where that crab was in that top left. That's where you would see like a E-leader or a Splatterscope player sit back safely. Instead, this time, that crab user from Starburst, I didn't see who it was in particular, but just sat back, shot Explo shots at the Rainmaker and was able to just safely stop it. And just that recognition from Starburst to stay back there. They knew that the other team, Kagura, was the team that needed to give it their all to even be able to get the lead. And Starburst just played defensively there and very nicely won that on their own counter pick.
And with that, it seems like Kagura will be choosing their second counter pick of this set, and they cannot pick splat zones. They cannot pick splat zones. That is the only restriction that they have right now, Rissa. What do you think they're gonna do? Do you think they want another E-leader map? But that is so hard because splat zones is the best mode for E-leader by a long shot. They just gotta take these fights. They gotta pick a map that Starburst maybe isn't so familiar with, and that is a tall feat.
Yeah, a team like Starburst is going to be able to adapt to pretty much anything thrown at them. I mean, that is a really, really tough feat to think about. And like you said, you know, if Kagura is wanting to counterpick to make sure that they can enable an E-leader, that might be their strong suit against Starburst. You know, if they're not able to pick zones, what are they going to pick, if anything, that might enable an E-leader? The only thing I could potentially think of is going to tower control, but you know, you never know. You never know. There could be so many things that Kagura could be thinking right now.
Yeah, so many things, and they are taking their time, that is for sure, because the lobby still says Rainmaker Flounder heights right now. So let's take a bit of a breather. This is a very intense match, isn't it, Rissa? So I say let's take the 30 seconds we have to talk about something else. Like, I heard you have a cat, right?
Yes, you're right. I do have a cat.
Yeah, I've seen this cat. It's a black cat. Looks
yeah.
a cute cat. I like cats.
She likes to sit next to me while I commentate.
Aww.
Sometimes I don't even realize I just have my hand resting on her head, and she just sits there like, yep, this is my life.
That's so cute. You know, I used to have a cat, but sadly, my cat ran away because I wouldn't let him do this. But he really wanted to do it, so he just ran away. He really wanted to go over to paypal.com/paypalme/20xxsplat and donate to the prize pool, to the total prize pool of this tournament, which as of right now is at $1,690 and the fabled 12 cents Does anyone want to donate 88 cents to just round that out to 0? Maybe not. I'm not sure. But yeah, my cat ran away because I said, no, you're not going to donate, but I really wanted to support the Splatoon competitive scene. So guys, if you too want to support the Splatoon competitive scene, be sure to donate to the prize pool and help out the players, help out the production, help out the tournaments, help out the entire thing, because it really, truly does help.
That has to be one of the smoothest donation transitions I've ever seen or heard in my life. That was so smooth, Dura.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. And,
you know,
I
never had a cat. I never had a cat either. That was a complete lie.
You played that off very smoothly. I gotta say, I definitely believed that you had a cat and that it ran away. That part of it, I did believe.
Oh, before we move on to the game, just on the donation, I am reading chat on the side and somebody said donate 57 cents. It is currently on 12 cents, so 12 plus 57. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Anyways, we are still actually... so we can see the player screen here, and they are still in the middle of picking their counter pick. Actually, we are still waiting. Kagura really thinking about how they want to play this. And remember, this is winners finals, so I could absolutely see the tension and, you know, detail that they are putting into this, wanting to make sure they play this very carefully. Yeah, they definitely do. It just crossed my mind that this team is half Japanese, so maybe getting the maps right between them might not be the easiest thing to do, so maybe that is part of the time that they take to pick one. But alas, a map has been picked, and it is Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy. Everybody knows this map. I love this map. This is one of my favorites. I'm stuck in the past. I suck at Splatoon 3. I was decent at 2. So yeah, I really like this map.
I do too. I'm stuck in the past also. If there's a Splatoon 2 map and mode, I will probably lean towards that because I too am stuck in the past. And even though the counterpicking did take a little while, we are actually headed straight into this match. This is game 4, and looking at this, looking at these comps, .Q sticking with the splash. We still see that triple splash on the side of Kagura paired with the stamper. And then on the side of Starburst, we have what Dura calls the double-double. We see a double splash and double machine coming out from Starburst.
Yeah, it is the double-double, and it's the second time we've seen the double-double today, which must mean that it's really strong. And let me tell you, it is. This is a very, very strong composition, especially in tower control, where that Booyah Bomb can be such a good defensive tool, and Crab Tank can act as a great defensive tool and an even greater offensive tool. Now Biscuit pops that Booyah Bomb. .Q goes down. There is a member, the Stamper from Kagura, trying to feed onto the tower, but that is exactly what they do. They feed Biscuit along with his Splash-O-Matic teammate gets the pick. Another one feeds into Biscuit's sideline, and Biscuit gets the pick. That is the end of the push, sadly, though, but 63 in first checkpoint, just completely demolished within the first minute of this map. That is a W, if you ask me, Rissa.
That is, I mean, getting, you know, all the points, the checkpoint, and then right now I think the awareness for Starburst to back up and play defense just really quickly. They did that so fast and were able to shut down Kagura once again. And again, they are riding the tower, able to push it past the first checkpoint just a little bit and try and consistently keep space. And they are just consistently taking down members of Kagura. They are once again not letting Kagura move at all. I mean, look at this, crabbing up in Kagura's bats area, just consistently holding this pressure and not letting them approach the tower at all right now.
No, not at all. This is the same Starburst from the first map of this match that just KO'd the map like it was nothing, and they are back now. Leafy has something to say about that with that Crab Tank, but with that Booyah, that Splatana Stamper in the bats area is not going to have a fun time. They go down finally, but it's a 2v3. Splashes and only splashes. .Q here tries to paint the map. Starburst is finally out of that enemy plat. But there's a shark there. Pops the crab tank. Can they do anything? Yes, they can. That is a pick. No more Stamper. Only the 3 splashes left alive. And Starburst wants to push the map. They want to push mid. They want to get control. They want to get more picks. Will they do it? Unsure. And there is your answer. That is a trade. At least 1 pick. They are falling now, kind of like dominoes, but it's trade after trade. Whammy stays alive, gets the picks, and Kagura lives to fight another day and to find another push. Whammy is going huge right now, Rissa. What is this?
Whammy just pushing up with the Stamper into the bats area and consistently is a player that has been able to create openings for Kagura, and when it pays off, it really pays off because it allows Kagura to be able to play behind that and open space for the objective and create space for that to happen. As we can see, Kagura able to get some points on the board and continue riding the tower. No one able to really quite get too far ahead of the tower right now, but Kagura is doing a really good job at juggling the tower and playing this a little bit slower and really slowing down any defense from Starburst. You could see getting past the second checkpoint, Kagura is putting points on the board right now.
What felt like an unstoppable force now feels like they've hit a wall because Starburst was giving in right then and there. But now with 1 minute left, they have cleared their plat and they are ready to push back into mid, and they really do need to do so because no more checkpoints. No more checkpoints. If Kagura gets a strong push in, this is so free. 40 seconds roughly on the clock. There is a pick going out in front, not in front, in favor of Starburst. They do have a Booyah ready. 30 seconds left. There's a crab tank ready on the side of Kagura. They have full map control. All of the crabs are there. One of them goes down. That's 2 down for the side of Kagura. Starburst going absolutely insane right now with 20 seconds left. This is match point, Rissa. There's 20 seconds for Kagura to flip this, or else Starburst takes this and secures a spot in Grand Finals.
Only 10 seconds remaining here, and Starburst just sitting back trying to play safely and make sure that they don't go down. Kagura, though, on the other side, riding the tower, but unfortunately for them, they do have 2 members down, and this Booyah Bomb comes out from Starburst, is able to completely shut down the tower. Starburst able to push up through that Booyah Bomb, stop the tower, and Starburst is moving on to Grand Finals of 20XX.
That is it. So much bloodshed. Pardon me. So much ink shed would be more appropriate for this game. But Starburst just goes insane that map. And that is 2 maps that I feel Starburst was absolutely dominating in. Actually 3. Scratch that. I completely forgot about Flounder Heights Rainmaker, where they just pushed and pushed and pushed. Such a strong showing, which makes me so happy, because my earlier prediction was Starburst takes this tournament, and now they're 1 step closer, and it's the final step. They have secured a spot in Grand Finals. Now they just have to wait for a loser's bracket to finish, and that will take a long time. And since Rissa and I have been here for a long time already, I think we will be passing the torch onto the next set of casters today, which will be...
it's gonna be Skep and Genie coming on the mic here in just a moment. But really quickly, that'll be it from Dura and I, like Dura just said. So I don't have much to say. This has been amazing. Great commentating with you, Dura. And you can find me on Twitter at RissaHigh. That's about it from me. Dura, do you have anything to say before we hand it over to Jem to analyze that set?
Well, before we send it over to our marvelous analyst desk, commanded and ruled over by Jem, I do want to ask Rissa, where can the people find you?
I don't know if you were listening, Dura.
I was not.
I actually just said.
Not. Well, say it again. Say it again for the people in the back. You can find Rissa over at Rissa High on Twitter. I'll just say it for you. because I know it. I wasn't listening because I already know. Well, this is embarrassing. However,
well,
you
how
can
about this? Where can the people find you, Dura?
All right, well, perfect, because I was just going to say that, and you can find me, everybody can find me over on Twitter as well, at Duracell_DLC, but enough about me, enough about Rissa. We've been here for hours. You're probably very tired of us, so Jem, take it over with your analysis.
Hello, it is me. I am Dura's cat. His story is correct. I corroborated. So, game one, those of you who are out there who are trying to figure out how you're going to beat Starburst, what I want you to do is go back into game one, which it ended so quickly that I didn't actually have time to hit start recording. That's how quickly that was over. But what I want you to go and see is figure out how Starburst is getting back onto the enemy plat as fast as they are after they get repulsed on that first push. They have this messy push where they're trying to push in on the left-hand side of plat. They put two crabs on exactly the same spot, and they kind of step on each other's feet a little bit, and a couple players go down. And somehow, in like 7 seconds, the entire team is back on the enemy plat again. And how they managed to do that is something that we've got to figure out if we're going to have any chance of taking Starburst out. So, unfortunately, we don't have that one to look over with the video, but we can move on to the one that Kagura did win here. And I think one thing that I would like to use to explain how this one goes is the comps. The range that Kagura brings here ends up being a huge benefit to them, because they are able to get picks from just too far away for the other team to contest. Now, yes, there are 3 crab tanks on Starburst's side, but you are not always going to have a crab tank. And with the range of the Stamper, you're going to be able to help shred it. So there's some really scrappy fighting that goes on early on, but at the end of the day, Q getting some clutch snipes and Wami being able to get into their base and really cause a distraction gives Kagura enough of an edge that they can just hold the zone. And ultimately, on the back of this play that we're seeing right here, they're able to snag the zone, and they're able to make a devastating push. They're going to be able to kind of collapse here on the rest of the enemy team. You know, Bagel is just in a lot of trouble, forced to back away. Zone gets capped, and what really happens that sets this up is for Wami and Leafy to get up to here. For the next maybe like 2 minutes, Starburst really cannot leave this spot. They are getting zoned out so hard by the range, by the burst bombs, the crab tanks come out, and the magic trick that Starburst is playing, where they somehow manage to get jumps in and have players up way earlier than you would expect them to be there, it doesn't work if they can't get out of their base. They're just getting locked out. This is a spawn camp. And this is what enables Kagura to get the number of points that they're going to need here to be able to ultimately get the win. And it does get a little bit hairy in the end, but they're able to hold out. So well played there. But unfortunately, it was not to last. This is a counter pick that they had, and I have to imagine that they probably... Okay, here's my real cat. I have to imagine that they probably chose that on the basis of them having performed so well on Brinewater zones earlier on. But they don't really manage to make Lightning Strike twice there. I think Starburst has a really interesting comp on this map here. They have a really good idea, a good plan of what they want to do. They've got double bucket, which makes a lot of sense for a map with this many walls that you have to hit over. You've got hitboxes that can hit someone even if you're not in a straight line of sight. So this allows them to do things like take the enemy plat and slosh up over the walls so people can't go up over those walls to get at them. The Inkjet in particular allows them to hit up over the top of these walls and make really good aggressive plays that way. So I like their thinking here. Like, this is clearly a game plan that Starburst has thought out. They're not just like throwing things at a wall right now. This is the way that they intended to play on Rainmaker Flounder, and I think this is a pretty good solution to it. Bucket players, Inkjet fans, rise up. There was a standout play that I wanted to show here of the Tri-Slosher and how it ends up working out for them here. We'll watch Bran get the assist on a pick there, is able to completely cut anyone off from getting to the wall, and then knowing that there's nobody in the back there, they know they only have to focus on the front. They catch someone going this way, and they're able to sneak around and get another sneaky pick there. And .Q wanders a little too close as well. So now from here, look at how close Bran is to special. Bran is able to just set up, get special, go up over walls, and now this is really difficult to approach. And the other team cannot stop the push from going a little bit further even yet. One thing that I'm thinking about on this map is that Chara seems not to like the Stamper on this map so much, having picked the Octobrush earlier on. And I have to think, with Wami kind of one-tricking the Stamper here, if there might not be some disadvantage that they're running into for that particular weapon. Because Wami was such an integral part of why they were able to win that last game, just able to hold off the enemy team. And here it seems like, every Zipcaster they went to that we saw on stream, they were just getting picked out immediately. They were getting spotted out, getting hit by very large hitboxes that are difficult to miss because they're buckets. So this might not have been, the strongest game plan that Kagura had, which of course is always going to happen on the counterpick system. In the counterpick system, the team is going to have a game plan that chose that counterpick. They're going to have an idea of how they want to play it, and it's really hard for the other team to have their own idea of how to play it. So I think it's a bigger advantage to have counterpicks in a game like Splatoon than it is from maybe a game that we might have taken the idea from, like the melee that sort of informs a lot of the way that our scene runs events. I know that there are other events that do this as well, but there's a lot of that DNA in here. And that's one decision that, I always think about as, does this have an impact more than we expect it to? So, Starburst are able to get the W there. Kagura just going to get completely walled out and not be able to advance any further. Moving on, we now have the final game of the set, eventually. Took a little bit of time for them to be able to get their counterpick figured out. But we go to a classic from Splatoon 2 on Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy. This is a very snowball-y map if you're able to get control of the right places, and we do see two separate snowballs happen in this match. I want to give props, first of all, to Starburst for their discipline on pushing here. They get this advantageous position here where the enemy team is 3 down, and they start pushing in. But as soon as the crab starts applying pressure on the tower, they're nevertheless willing to back up. They're not going to try and risk anything they don't have to. Bagel knows that if Bagel advances too far, that crab tank is going to just zero him out. So they wait it out, and that gives them this opportunity. They find a couple of picks as Kagura gets a little bit too impatient and starts to rush up. And so they're going to be able to clear second checkpoint, and they're going to be able to put a crab up here. Putting a crab up here is sort of like, not a win condition, but definitely a condition for getting a winning push. And Starburst is able to pull that off here and get down to 23, which is huge for them. Now, what gets Starburst back, or what gets Kagura back into the game is the absolute Wami highlight reel that happens right around this moment. And they are able to get most of the way up to that lead, but ultimately just not quite enough. Stopped at 32. Again, Starburst using the resources at a beautiful moment in time to be able to stop it all. And so, as a result, we still have Starburst at the top of the leaderboard. Really excited to see what they're able to do next.